Panther Nation, Draft Family, what's good, man? Hey, listen, we got some huge news in free agency. Stay tuned to the end of this video for that. And we got some huge salary cap updates, all right? But before we get into that, man, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And make sure you get in the comments, all right? Listen, we are on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We need your help. We got some big, huge changes coming to the channel and some big news coming really soon, all right? So that being said, man, please do your part. Help this channel grow. We're doing some amazing things over here and appreciate your support, especially from the day ones, all right? That being said, let's jump into this news, man, real quick. Adam Schefter had just announced that the salary cap is going to be a little bit higher than we expected. We all know that the salary cap is going to be down, way down from what we anticipated due to the loss of revenue from COVID. And we expected to be at 175 million, and now Adam Schefter reported that it's going to be up to 180 million to 181 million. Just depends on where they're going to go. Again, it has not been official yet, but the hope is that it's going to be in that range, okay? Which is good for the Panthers. It's good for most of the teams that are really in salary cap hell. There's a lot of teams that are way, way above the cap. There's some that are way below it. So we're right. The Panthers are right in the middle. So we're in good shape. But that extra $5 million is going to help us out tremendously. Be a little bit more flexible. And so that being said, we're going to go ahead and get to a couple things. You know, we're gonna cut some people. We're gonna see what we can do with a couple trades. See how that goes. We're gonna jump into that right now on SpotTrack.com. Let's go ahead and see what we can do as far as finding a little bit more cap space. All right. All right, Panthers fans, let's jump into this salary cap manager on SpotTrack. This is one that I like a lot, so it's pretty accurate, and it's a really good one. Over the cap is really good too. I like them both. Anyway, again, we've been given the new salary cap figure by Adam Schefter, and let's go ahead and jump into this roster management piece to free up a little bit more cap. We have some flexibility with a few contracts, getting rid of some dead weight. And let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it real quick. So the first one I want to start off with is Teddy Bridgewater. I think, listen, the Teddy Bridgewater situation right now is, I mean, we've kind of alienated Teddy. Teddy has thrown rocks at the coaching staff in press conferences, throwing people under the bus. We've thrown Teddy under the bus. I just think it's really not a good fit right now. It seems like we don't want him here, and I don't see why he would want to be here. So I think we should trade Teddy Bridgewater to a team that's not picking in the top 10. A team like the Bears. I know the Bears are in talks right now to get Carson Wentz, but they seem to be frustrated with that situation. So teams like the Bears, the Colts, I think the Colts is the ideal situation for Teddy Bridgewater. Going in that situation, you got a good defense, good offensive line, some solid weapons. So I think the Colts is a good trade target. But those teams that are sitting back, in the teens and 20s, the Saints even, we'll go back. We can trade Teddy Bridgewater to them. And then that'll give us some more draft capital to move around in the draft. So, again, I just want to show you guys the implications of trading Teddy Bridgewater, all right? So if we trade Teddy Bridgewater, we would save, and again, it doesn't matter who we trade him to. We'll just say it's the Bears for the sake of this exercise. But if we traded Teddy Bridgewater, we would save $12 million in cap space. Now, it's not the full salary because we have to pay out his guaranteed money in that trade. Again, but we will save $12 million in salary cap, and it'll give us some flexibility down the road as well. All right. So trade Teddy Bridgewater, and then we could also take a look at cutting K1 Short. So if K1 Short's played 5 games in the past 2 or 3 years. So listen, he's not healthy. Even when he was on the field, he wasn't producing that much. He's getting older. So I'm going to say go ahead and release K1 Short. That's going to save us a $9 million right there. So it's another $9 million that we saved this year. Let's go ahead and take a look at Stephen Weatherly. Stephen Weatherly, again, was hurt. Didn't provide much. He didn't produce much when he was on the field. So I think he was kind of brought in for a mentor role. Didn't quite work out. He's not playing that well. We cut him. That's $5 million saved. Justin Burris, I think Justin Burris is solid, but I think you can draft a safety, and I think you can upgrade over Justin Burris. So you can get rid of Justin Burris, release him. You can also release Michael Parliday. Michael Parliday, I think we have a good punter in Joe Charlton, who after punting that thing over the fence in training camp has turned out to be a solid punter. Okay, so we can cut Michael Parliday. That'll save us another close to $2 million. So just in those cuts right there and the trade of Teddy Bridgewater, we are sitting around $50 million in cap space. So that's pretty solid amount of cap space, and that will give us a lot of flexibility moving forward in other years. So again, there's ways that we can free up space, and I think we're in a really good situation as far as cap space goes moving forward. All right, I've shown you how the Panthers can create some flexibility in the cap. I think we're in a good spot. Even with the salary cap coming down, we're in a good space, okay? We can create some more flexibility and move and groove a little bit, but I don't expect us to make a huge splash in free agency, but just enough to do a little bit of damage, okay? Now, that being said, we've got to address some of our own, okay? Joe Person has come out and talked about some things that the Panthers intend to do. They're rumors, but they are reported by a reputable source, Joe Person from The Athletic, okay? Now, according to Joe Person, he's stating that the Panthers do intend to use the franchise tag on Taylor Moton if they cannot come up with a long-term deal, okay? And that's just going to prevent him from hitting the open market, and it gives us a little bit more time to establish a long-term deal. I don't think either side wants him to play on the franchise tag, but Taylor Moton has to do what's best for him as far as getting the best bang for his buck. He needs to, use all tools to get the most money, okay? And the franchise tag is just going to prevent him from testing the market. So it's a smart thing and the right thing for the Panthers to do. Now we need to come up with a long-term deal for Taylor Moton to lock him in for the long term. Let's get it done, Panthers. But good first step. Now let's move on to Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel is another free agent that we all love. We all want to keep him around, but it does appear that he's going to test the open market. The Panthers, according to Joe Person, did offer Curtis Samuel a contract late this season. He did not accept it. He wants to test the open market, okay? Now, I think that's why you saw Curtis Samuel being fed a lot. He got fed a lot this season, and I feel like they were trying to make amends and say, hey, Curtis, we know how to use you. We apologize for the first 3 years, but we're going to fix it, and we're going to make it right, and this is what we're going to do for you, okay? And he didn't want that deal. He's going to test the open market, and I think it's the right thing to do for Curtis Samuel. Now, I like Curtis Samuel, but Curtis Samuel is going to be high commodity on the open market. Now, if he's not, and it appears that the teams are cooler on him than he expects, I think he may come back to the Panthers, but I think it's going to be highly unlikely once he hits the open market. And shout out to Curtis Samuel, man, but I think he's going to get paid by another team, that is. Now let's move on to the offensive line, okay? Well, I know we talked about Taylor Moton earlier. We're going to franchise tag him, but we got some more guys on the offensive line that could test free agency or could be locked up by us. Now, talking about Chris Reed, John Miller, the two starting guards. Chris Reed sucked. John Miller was okay. And it appears that they're going to prioritize John Miller over Chris Reed, okay, which is smart. You want to have a veteran guard. Even if you draft a couple guys in the draft, a couple interior guards in the draft, you want to make sure you have a veteran presence. And I think that's what John Miller does, just in case. John Miller was serviceable. Chris Reed, on the other hand, not so much. But John Miller was serviceable. Now, they're going to expect Dennis Daly to compete for the other starting guard position. So it's looking like if things pan out the way it looks, the offensive line could be Taylor Moton, John Miller, Matt Paradis, Dennis Daly, and then hopefully we draft a left tackle. Now that's looking all right. That's making me feel a little bit more comfortable in our offensive line. But again, we got to re-sign John Miller. And Dennis Daly has to stay healthy. I think we still need to draft 2 offensive linemen. Dennis Daly has proven that he cannot stay healthy, and I'm not going to put my eggs in one basket pretending that Dennis Daly is going to be healthy. Not going to happen. All right, so we do still need to draft some guards, a guard or 2. Now, moving on. Other free agent priorities could be F.A. Obata, Chris Manhertz, Trenton Scott, Julian Stanford. Those are guys that it appears that the Panthers want to keep around, and they're going to prioritize them in free agency. I don't have any thoughts on that. F.A. is cool. I like F.A. Obata. Chris Manhertz, I'm still confused how this man continues to. I know he's a good blocker, but he ain't offering nothing else. Okay, so I'm not sure how he continues to land on the Panthers roster. Trenton Scott, I get that. He's a solid depth piece. You want to, just in case something happens with your starting left tackle, Trenton Scott's going to be around. So I do appreciate that. Julian Stanford's a linebacker depth, special teams guy. I'm not mad at that either. Now let's get into some guys that they are going to let walk. This is interesting. Now, Russell Okung, we get that one. I get letting him walk. No problem with that. Tahir Whitehead, I get that. You're going to let him walk. No problem with that. Alex Arma, I get that one too. The fullback was not really a priority in Joe Brady's offense, so I get that one. Michael Shofield, that's an interesting one. I think he's not very good, but you kind of want to have that depth piece for the offensive line. So I would like to see him come back as a depth piece. Again, not a huge key factor, but again, a solid depth piece. Now, the biggest surprise for me was Rasul Douglas was on this list. Rasul Douglas was a guy that they're going to let test free agency or let him walk. There's no intention on bringing him back. I think that's a huge mistake by the Panthers. You're letting another cornerback walk, okay? We've seen this happen. I don't think he had the greatest year, but I think he was serviceable, provide some leadership and continuity in the secondary room. You let him walk. Now we're looking at Stanley Thomas Oliver, Troy Pride. That's really it. Dante Jackson. Those are really your guys. And I think it's a huge mistake. I know they want to address it in the draft, but now you're kind of hitting the reset button on the secondary again. I don't like this move. I think you should re-sign Rasul Douglas. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I think given the flexibility that we created in the exercise a few minutes ago, I think there's enough room to get Rasul Douglas re-signed. All right, that being said, that's the news. Shout out to Joe Person for the rumors. Listen, give me your thoughts. What are you guys thinking? There's a lot of content in here. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Is it good? Is it bad? Give me your thoughts on each move. Is this trending in the right direction? Is it not? All right. That being said, that's all I got. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Keep pounding. I'm out. Peace.